One of the longest tornadoes in the state's history occurred this weekend. The damage that took place and how the governor responded.
While another group of people are helping those in need.
You can see visibly distraught, emotional families.
How volunteers are slowly starting to put our state's capital back together.
Oh my God, stop.
Take a look at this video. This was the moment a high-end EF3 tornado struck Little Rock, destroying houses, flipping cars, and misplacing families.
We've had our UATV reporters on the ground covering the damage that followed this devastating tornado in Little Rock. Tonight we have team coverage talking to those that were impacted and left picking up the pieces.
Well, welcome to this Thursday night edition of UATV. I'm Bo Russell.
And I'm Jenna Swope. Thanks for joining us. The National Weather Service confirmed damage from an EF3 tornado in Little Rock on Friday. Winds from the tornado reached up to 165 miles per hour, and the storm was 1.3 miles wide. The tornado's path was about 30 miles, beginning 4 miles west in Little Rock in Pulaski County and ending in Austin, Arkansas.
2,500 structures were damaged, which left more than 70,000 Arkansans without electricity. According to officials, 5 people were killed. First responders sifted through debris for more possible victims after the tornado sliced through the state. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders declared a state of emergency on Friday, triggering access to statewide assistance, including the National Guard.
This storm system outbreak stretched across Arkansas, the Midwest, and the Mississippi Valley. We are now going to send it over to Joshua Weisel, who has the storm conditions and more about the path of the tornado.
All right, so here's a look at the reports we had across the nation from that system. It was pretty nasty. Notice all the dots across the Midwest and the southern United States. That was a total of almost 127 tornado-related reports, so it was quite active. We can consider this an outbreak because of all the reports. Here's a look at more information from the system. A total of 939 storm-related reports across the nation with this. Like I said, 124 reports that were tornado-related. Here's a look at that path from the Little Rock tornado. Of course, this one was pretty damaging across the state, across the Little Rock area, as you can see. It was an EF3, 165 mile per hour winds. That was 1 mile an hour short of an EF4 tornado, and the difference really doesn't matter. It still caused some devastation. 54 were injured, and the survey is still ongoing. Now to the field, where we have reporters on the scene.
Yeah, well, devastating damage struck not only Little Rock homes, but also businesses. Now, UATV has had multiple reporters on the ground, one as early as Friday evening. UATV's Caitlin Garza is live to tell us how this event affected businesses.
Yeah, this particular shopping center right off of Rodney Harem, which is a very popular street and area in Little Rock, was devastatingly struck. I don't know if y'all can see, these businesses right behind me are already having their glass windows boarded up now, but the cars in this Kroger parking lot that were completely destroyed and basically totaled by the tornado are very much still here, and we can only assume that they belong to people that were either inside shopping or conducting a typical work day when the tornado struck. But one thing I have seen throughout the entire city has been that a majority of the people inside of these businesses were actually able to walk out alive and unharmed. The Woodland Heights area of Cantrell Road took a devastating hit Friday afternoon, with housing units and businesses nearly demolished. Employees of Pulaski County Title were on the top floor of the building when the first tornado hit the area.
We were in the bathroom, in the women's bathroom behind the elevator, which I think pretty much saved our lives.
Never thinking the tornado would actually hit their building, Broyles and the people on her floor didn't have time to make it downstairs where everyone else was sheltering.
I could hear the metal peeling from the roof.
Once the sounds of destruction stopped, Broyles and her co-workers barely made it outside before having to rush into a nearby basement as a second tornado hit.
I came back out. We were doing good. It was still kind of raining, and then someone said, "Here comes another one."
Broyles says she and the other 50 people in her building were lucky to have somewhere nearby to take cover.
So everybody was really kind to let us come in and shelter with them.
Cleanup crews say even working as quickly as possible, it may take more than 6 months to recover from the storm.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, they're probably looking at close to $1 million worth of damage.
For Broyles and her co-workers, however, the damages are the least of their worries.
But we're all safe, and this is just material things, and we can rebuild and just go on. That's all we can do.
Yesterday, Broyles was actually able to go back inside of that building and visit the remains of what was once her office. And luckily enough, the only thing that was left, despite everything else being completely gone, was a candy bowl dish that she had still full and completely untouched. Reporting live in Little Rock for UATV, this has been Caitlin Garza.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Yeah, being able to hear what someone experienced in that tornado is absolutely unreal. But homeowners and businesses were not the only communities affected by this tornado. The homeless community in Little Rock has been impacted even more after the tornado. James Rhodes was staying in a motel when the tornado touched down. All he could do is watch while the tornado came right toward him.
I went back inside. I stood at my window, watched the tornado come in and topple over. It was a cedar, a giant cedar in the yard, and destroyed my vehicle. And then once I saw that happen, there was like a pressure change, and I was like, I should go to the bathroom now. So I ran to the bathroom, and then it all fell silent.
And many citizens are coming out to support people in need. Little Rock resident Lola Self survived the tornado and now wants to get out and help. Self's experience in the tornado was different from what she expected, but she was still impacted.
After everything settled down, we went outside. My neighbor goes, "There's just a limb on your car." So I said, "Oh, that's not a problem." Well, no, it wasn't on my car. It had pierced the back window on the passenger side, and it was just impaled in there.
Self says state officials instructed her not to travel, but she still wants to help those in need. While she is not the main part of the storm, she described the scenes as unbelievable.
Yeah, and among organizations helping, the Red Cross continues to provide support for individuals in need. An overnight shelter for families impacted is set up on Calvary Baptist Church on Cantrell Road. Now, numerous people stayed in the shelter over the weekend. Red Cross Communications Manager John Brimley says the Red Cross wants to help in any way that they can.
You know, as an organization, our mission is really, we're out here just trying to alleviate human suffering as best as we can. And again, our first step was to open the shelter.
The Red Cross will continue to help individuals in need with the next steps after the storm. Multiple teams across Wynn and Little Rock are on site in support of families.
Communities across central Arkansas all coming together to pick up what's left after that tornado destroyed parts of their city. City officials and community members are all joining in to help. UATV's LaKyra Banks joins us live from Little Rock with a look at the community's efforts.
As you can see, this building the roof is just almost demolished, several down power lines and just wreckage everywhere. But one thing is, all these communities are coming together to help rebuild their neighborhoods.
A 32-mile tornado tearing through cities spanning from Little Rock.
We have several homes that just don't exist anymore.
To Jacksonville.
It's not just trees falling on your roof damage, it's roofs are gone, it's people don't have cribs anymore, clothes anymore, diapers, every bare essential that you can think of.
Leaving homes and businesses unrecognizable.
They're sitting in the rubble trying to assess everything right now.
In the middle of an uprooted community, neighbors and city officials come together to help one another and offer some relief.
This is our community. It's going to be rebuilt, and we're going to be reshaped as a result of it.
The amount of outreach and support is overwhelming resource centers.
Could not find a place to volunteer today. Everybody was full. The first place that I went said that they didn't need any more volunteers, so I came here and they were full, but they could still use me.
In Little Rock Community Centers, FEMA and the National Guard all join forces to help.
The bottom line is that all of this is trying to serve the city in the most effective way possible.
Across the river in Jacksonville, community members are doing whatever they can to help.
But hopefully we can help them to just have a little bit of sunshine on this cloudy day.
Despite bracing for tomorrow's storm,
Even if it's not as bad as it was this weekend, it's going to feel worse because we don't have roofs on our houses. We don't have the food and shelter that we need.
neighbors continue to look out for one another.
Sure, your neighbors who don't have power know that the storm is coming, because if they haven't seen it on social media, they don't know. They don't have the news. I mean, we've got to work together as a family.
Now, several of those community members that I spoke with today said they're willing to stick it out for as long as that takes, whether it's weeks, months, or even years. They say they just want the community to be back to where it was. Reporting live in Little Rock for UATV, I'm Lakyra Banks.
Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has launched a one-stop website for storm victims to find available resources. Those looking to help can also find ways to volunteer or donate.
There's an all-hands-on-deck mindset with people of all ages helping their community.
It makes me happy that I can put a smile on their face.
Coming up, see how the community is coming together in these trying times.
We have a weather alert day tomorrow. Severe weather's on the way. Stay tuned for the full update on storm chances here in just a little bit.
A church in North Little Rock is providing support to the homeless. The Lord is My Shepherd Church in West Little Rock is providing food and clothes for homeless residents. Co-pastor Angel Bondsflower says everyone has to come together in this time of need.
That's what we need to do. We need to help our brothers and sisters when we see them in need, not just to look at it and just say, oh, look what happened to them and go on by your own way. I mean, come together. Let's get this together and help one another, because that's what we need. We draw strength from one another. So
Bondsflower says she and her church will continue to support individuals throughout the coming months.
Yeah, the Little Rock community remains resilient. While some businesses close, others look at the disaster as a reminder of hope. UATV's Kristen Kite joins us live in Little Rock with the story. Kristen?
Yes, some devastating blows have hit Little Rock, as you can see behind me here, but the residents still remain hopeful. The sound of chainsaws shredding into hanging limbs, cluttering the streets. Whistles blown as traffic gets directed amidst broken power lines and traffic signals. Generators rattling to give light and power to those cleaning what is shown as damage from a tornado in the metro area of Little Rock. These volunteers and workers have come from all over to help the area rebuild. For now, this is the community's new job. There are no strict requirements or age limit to the cleanup process.
It makes me happy that I can put a smile on their face and make them feel more comfortable.
In 2018, my hometown was hit with an EF3 tornado, pretty similar to this amount of damage.
I'm very proud of what we have and what we've been doing, because it takes all of us to do what we need to do.
Essential providers like grocery stores, restaurants, and gas stations have been hit, causing several workers to look towards other means. For some, that looks like picking up a chainsaw, passing out food, donating materials, and comforting those around them.
Everybody. I mean, I can't believe all this has been done. It gives me a lot of hope that there's still good in the world.
One of the most important jobs of all is keeping smiles on the community's faces. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Kristen Kite.
Thanks so much, Kristen. Yeah, if you're looking to donate, you can do so through the Little Rock Cares Emergency Fund.
Unfortunately, we're not done with the severe weather. We are just beginning spring, and our next potential significant severe weather event for Northwest Arkansas and parts of the state, the Midwest and the Mississippi Valley, will be this system tomorrow. Now, take a look we're going to play the game of where is the system. And as you can see, it is this ginormous area of energy, this trough as we call it, that's making its way towards the area. This is forecasted for 1 o'clock tomorrow. And I'll show you the outlook that we have for tomorrow across the area. And the reason I'm so concerned for that is we have a 4 out of 5 risk that splits basically the Fayetteville area from the Storm Prediction Center. And I'll show you that here. As you can see, they don't issue these typically that often 2 days out. So we're watching that very carefully. And one of the reasons that we're so concerned is here's a look at that tornado risk. And the moderate risk is mostly tornado driven, meaning that the highest risk so far, besides a large damaging hail, will be the potential for tornadoes. So we have that in place, so make sure that you stay weather alert tomorrow. And here's a look at that next slide here with the tornado risk. And there you see the 30% basically splits our area. So here's a look at the risk that we have for this next system just all together. And I'll show you, we have winds, hail, and all types of severe weather. So make sure that you have ways to stay weather alert. We could have one round with discrete cells early on in the evening, an additional round after at least 10 o'clock, and then one round potentially in the morning. Stay tuned for more in just a second.
The devastation not only affected central and northeast Arkansas. Many students attend the U of A are originally from the hardest hit areas. Some students kept a close eye on the weather as the storm approached their hometowns. One student traveled back to his neighborhood in Little Rock to see the damage for himself. Another student stayed in Fayetteville, but she says she can't wait to be there for her community.
I wanted to get in my car and go home like right then and there, but I know that, you know, I have things to do and school here, so it's really hard, but as soon as like Easter comes around and me leaving to go there, I can go and help out.
UATV hopes for safety and recovery for all U of A students and families that may have been affected.
Yeah, the tornado impacted many people on campus, with families of students and faculty left without their homes. The university is helping those affected by working with students who need assistance missing class to help with cleanup efforts. The university advises that you stay in Fayetteville with many unexpected road closures and the chance for additional storms. Donations can be made at United for AR to the number 41444.
Arkansas soccer looking sharp in the off-season. A look at the Hogs' dominant exhibition win over Kansas State. And baseball and softball come out of the weekend victorious. I'll have scores and more from each of those games coming up on UATV Sports. Welcome back to UATV Sports. I'm Jordan Lassiter here with your Razorback Sports update. Razorback soccer takes down Kansas State at home in its second spring exhibition game. Ava Tankersley was the first to score for the Hogs just over a minute until the first 30-minute period. In the second, Taylor Berman scored her first goal of the season. Tankersley had a second goal to put the Hogs up 3-0 with 9 minutes remaining in the game. Up next, the Razorbacks host Oral Roberts this Friday at 8. Softball moves to 8-4 in SEC play after a 3-game series against Mississippi State over the weekend. The Hogs were able to dominate the Bulldogs by winning all 3 games, making this their third straight series win over Mississippi State. Despite finding themselves down 4-3 heading into the 7th, the Hogs were able to make a comeback during the series finale Sunday afternoon. Later this week, the Lady Razorbacks will host Georgia for a 3-game series starting on Thursday at 6 p.m. The Diamond Hogs also finished off a 3-series game against Alabama over the weekend. On Saturday, both Jace Bohefren and Caleb Calley had 8th-inning homers to secure the 9-6 win. Sunday, Alabama was able to get an early 2-run lead, but fortunately, the Hogs were able to finish with a close score of 5-4. The Razorbacks have won 9 weekend series against the Crimson Tide in the last 11 tries. The Hogs take to the Diamond again tomorrow at 6 for a matchup against Arkansas State. That's all for UATV Sports. We'll be back with more after the break.
All right, folks, stay weather alert tomorrow. It is going to be quite the system that moves through. Make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts, weather alert day tag on the extended 7-day forecast. And also make sure, have ways to receive alerts, know where to shelter in the event of a warning. If you're on campus and a warning happens to be issued, you'll get an alert from campus and you'll hear the siren. So keep that in mind. Stay tuned for the latest throughout the next couple of hours.
And that's all the time we have for UATV. Be sure to follow us on social media at UATV News. I'm Bo Russell.
And I'm Jenna Swope. Thanks for joining us.